Hey everyone, it's Jason. Today we have a Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid Big Box expansion. Rise of the Psycho Rangers. So this should be the second big box, because the first one would have been Shattered Grid, with the Hyperforce Rangers, versus Dakon and that whole storyline. This should be the first one I actually feel was like stepping away from the Mighty Morphin series. Because although Hyperforce wasn't Mighty Morphin, it's not like they passed off the Dakon being Drakon, and like the Rebel Ranger Slayer and the Mastodon Troopers. Like, it's really tied directly into the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Even though it does have like the Red Samurai Ranger and the Pink Time Force Ranger and a new team, it's tied heavily into that. And this one I feel is like the first kind of good set. It's not. They did have like the Tommy pack, which had some other ones, and things like that. But this is kind of like your first one where you're really not in the Mighty Morphin world anymore. And you gotta move on. And there's actually some new modes in here. Bunch of interesting stuff. So let's crack her open and see what we got. Ugh. So I have the Space Rangers. If you're not familiar with who these are, it's Power Rangers in space. So I get like our promo sheet, shows us other sets that came out, like the Tommy Legacy pack, then the Zeo pack, which Zeo is our step away from Mighty Morphin, but there are lots of us, but it's kind of like in the same run. And then the large Golgar, and then the comic books. We get a new instruction manual. Now, even though this is a big box set, it is still an expansion. You can't go and just buy this and play the game. Because it's not going to have... It has enough Rangers and probably enough... It might have enough monsters and stuff to sit down and play a full game. But you're not going to have enough minions. Or like the Zord board and all the tokens and all that stuff. And it does come with quite a bit of stuff, but it's still an expansion. It's not a standalone starter set. Just so you understand that. It says integrating it, this is how you can do it. New nemesis types. New nemesis enemies can be used as individually monsters in the standard game mode, or all together as a boss, or united as the Psycho Assault modes. There's 3 different ways you can use them. Just kind of neat. It just kind of explains how you're going to use them, if you're going to use each one. So, individual Psycho Rangers can be used in a standard game as normal monsters. Before the game, choose how many Psycho Rangers, 1 or 2, you wish to use. Prepare the deployment deck, find the cards suited to the Psycho Ranger, shuffle each of those cards into the appropriate deck, and then remove the Psycho Assault card as well as the weapon card and the path card associated with each Psycho Ranger that was not selected. If Psycho Red was not selected, remove the Psycho Sword and Flame. Just kind of just like that way you're not using cards for the characters that are in there. Some deployments. I'm not going to go through all of their stuff. Like that. They have a boss version you can do them as. I mean, if you want to play them, definitely you can play them. But yeah, they're going to be their own interesting mode. Because they target certain cards, they attach to guys. They have this Psycho Assault mode, which makes them work a little bit differently. I'd say most of this manual is explaining how the Psycho Rangers work. Boss battle. Then there's this new Mastermind mode. One player can take control of the forces in the new Mastermind mode. Shuffle the new deck. Place the scheme deck near the Mastermind player face down. Mastermind player then draws 3 cards to form their starting hand. Before shuffling The 20-foot soldier deployment deck. Remove 4-foot soldier deployment cards. Add 3 deploy 3 figures and replace them with the 4 mastermind deployment cards and add the boss monster deployment. Okay, so you're moving some of the ones that add 3s instead of dropping 3 enemies. You're instead going to be playing these mastermind cards that let you do some other stuff. And then there's a special grid for that. It's a 3x3 grid. So basically the mastermind mode lets you do, and I'm not going to read through all this, so I'm kind of just trying to remember from what I've heard and watched videos on, is that the mastermind basically is playing the bad guys, and then play when the cards are deployed, determines how they're deployed in here. So you can actually choose sort of like what cards, like this is a guard card. You know, it's going to guard both of them. You can kind of choose and pick which ones, which go in what order, what's adjacent to each other, which will make a difference for certain effects. It's kind of an interesting idea. And then we have the Astral Megaship, which is a new like command center. So when you move to Astral Megaship, you may immediately perform a free recovery action without flipping the action token. So this lets you, so like normally you go to the regular command center in the base game. You can shuffle your hand, your discard pile, all back in your deck, and then draw up to 5 new cards. Recovery action just lets you take up to 6 shields worth of cards. This only lets you do that, so it doesn't let you do as much as the regular command center does, but you get to do it for free. When you perform the recovery action at the Astral Megaship, you may strategize. Choose one ranger from any location, and that ranger may drop to 3 cards, then choose an equal number of cards from their hand to place back on the top of their deck. Rangers cannot power up when they move to the Astral Megaship. That only applies to the command center. So it's basically your excuse me. When you move to this command center, the Astral Megaship, you don't get to recover as many cards, but you get to assist another player. So it's kind of your trade-off. Is either you can like get a full recovery and help yourself off, or you can play with this one and get less of a benefit of it, but you get to help somebody else. So here's the mastermind grid. We got all our big villains on there. We got Golgar, Drakon, Zed, Riga, Psycho Red, and Master Vile, I believe. Can't remember if that's Master Vile or not. I don't remember them. And then we have this side, which is the 4 deck side, which I forgot what that was for, man. Probably because I'm just flipping through it. I just don't want to read the entire thing in a playthrough. It doesn't specify. It shows the 3-side one. Unless the 4-side's just an alternate version. The Mastermind mode is a 3x3 grid. You choose where the cards are placed. Then what's the 4x4 side? Unless that's... Oh, this is just a regular playboard. That's what it's for. So if you're playing Mastermind, because the villains get to choose... Mastermind can choose where they go. There's 9 spots. Otherwise, this is like your 4 monsters, your 4 foot soldiers. That's it. It's just, it's kind of neat, because now you have a playboard to go with the rest of the game. Alright, we're going to get a couple of new locations here. So we have the Astral Megaship, which we just talked about. And there's the, like, Elite side or Epic side. I forgot what it's called. And then we have big old mastermind token. This is so you can put it on which card is being activated at which time, so the players know. Set those guys out, and then we got 2 new locations. We have the surf spot, and we have a KO-35. And I have not ever watched In Space, so I don't know anything about any of these things. So KO-35. When any ranger moves to or from this location, they must discard the top card of their deck. Okay, so that's the bad one. There's usually one bad one, one good one. When any ranger moves to or from this location, they choose one card from the discard pile and place it on the bottom of their deck. So that's kind of fun. They kind of work hand in hand, so if you move from one, you have to discard. And if you move to the other one, you can put it back on there. So those are those 2 spots. 5 and a 6. Alright, then we have all the miniatures. All the rangers, the psycho rangers. And some cards. We get a little token, or a little card holder here. This is for the mastermind token. The little Rita scepter. So you can snap that on there so you can like move it around on the board rather than having to try and keep sliding it around. Let's look at our rangers first. Our rangers and our Zords. If I can get this pack open. Oh boy, this is being really stubborn. Or I'm just going at it really dumb. Little both, I think. There we go. Alright, and then we have... Start us off, we have our Red Ranger. I'm going to slide this off to the side so it's not in the way. I'm going to zoom in. Got the Red Ranger there. Pretty cool. He's got his gun in the back. He's got a like drill sword. Interesting. Their symbol is like an envelope. I'm not really sure why. I mean, it kind of represents what's on their belt, but I don't know if it stands for something. Andros, the Red Space Ranger. Covert Tactics. Once per battle, any ranger may ignore guard keyword when choosing a target for an attack. That's nice. It works for any ranger. Let's see if we can grab the cards over here. We'll just see if we can do each ranger one at a time. Alright, they have their Astro Blasters, which are going to be like the Blade Blasters from the Mighty Morphin, and the Power Pod Sword from Zeo. I think Hyperforce had something too, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But costs X, and it's a reaction. So, excuse me, sorry. This should be the one card every Space Ranger has. Play this card to allow any ranger to ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for an attack. Add 1 damage to that attack for each energy spent to play this card, maximum of 3. So basically, if you pay 0, it's going to do 1 damage. You pay 1, you'll do 2, so it can go up to 4 damage, essentially. No, I'm sorry, add 1 for each attack. So do 1, 2, or 3 damage, but it can ignore guard. It's kind of cool, but then it also makes Andros' ability a little less interesting, because if you have everybody has a card that lets him ignore guard. But his you can use on some power attacks. So we have Let's Rock It. 1 cost. Maneuver. Roll 2 dice and gain an amount of energy equal to the hit result. The other ranger of your choice may immediately play 1 card. Place this card on top of your deck instead of discarding it. That could be very helpful. I mean, worst case is you roll nothing, but at least somebody else gets to go ahead and play a card, so you're not wasting your entire turn, and you get to put this back on there. So if nothing else, it's a defense card. All right, here's his weapon. He has a use of his weapon: Mega Drill Breaker, 2 attack. If this attack does not defeat your target, you may spend 1 energy to perform a second attack with 2 dice against the same enemy. Oh, cool. So that's like a piercing effect. Pierce defense, or pierce defenses. He does not like a guard. Attack 2. Next time any ranger performs an attack, they may ignore guard keyword when choosing a target for that attack. Yeah, so he's going to help get around that guard. Here's his weapon, the Spiral Saber. 4 attack, 4 dice. You may ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. Deal 2 damage, divided as you choose amongst enemy cards adjacent to the target. That's nice, so you can do hit a guard character and then also do 2 damage to guys next to it. And then finally, he has Telekinesis. Play this card at the start of a battle. Any ranger may take the top card from their discard pile and add it to their hand. So it kind of helps you set up. So it's kind of like the leader. Helps ignore guard. Alright, so that's Andros. So it's kind of cool. Helps ignore some guards. Up next, we have the Blue Ranger, who's got like this interesting like mega gun, because there looks like a little small gun there, a gun there, a gun there. Of course, I wonder if one of those is his Astral Blaster. You can see his is tucked in his pocket there, but then he doesn't have one in his pocket. And it kind of looks like it's, this gun here is like opened up and attaching to like his blade. Yeah, so I'll have to see. It'll probably show us where his weapon is. So this is T.J. Johnson, the Blue Space Ranger. Level-headed. Once per battle, when any ranger performs an attack, they may remove up to 2 dice before rolling to add that much hits to that attack. Well, that's kind of cool. So if you have someone that's doing a lot of dice rolling, you can choose to just be like, I'm going to do 2 direct damage, or up to 2 direct damage for sure, rather than risking it on a roll. So why did you put the blue one second, and now the black one on the deck? I don't get it. Alright, so he's got his Astro Axe, which is out, which looks like he has it combined. Like he has the blade, his blade blaster like combined with his Astro Axe to make like a big giant mega cannon. So special, reveal the top card of your deck and 1 card from your hand. This attack deals a number of hits equal to the number of defense on those cards. Oh boy, that could go up to 6 hits. That's crazy. Especially with telekinesis here. Add it to their hand, so you can play a big card and then know what it's going to be. There's the Astro Blaster again. Oh, there we go. There's a picture of it. It's this Buster Rifle. Special, reveal the top card of your deck. This attack deals hits equal to the number of shields on that card. So he likes to look at the top card of his deck. So that's kind of cool. Cosmic Cleave, 2 dice. If this attack defeats your target, you may place this card on top of your deck instead of discarding it, which gives you them 3 shields, which can be really helpful. Precision Tactics. Maneuver. A ranger of your choice may immediately play one card. If that card is an attack, they may remove any number of dice before rolling to add that much damage to that attack. It's kind of interesting. They have cards in so far. It looks like both of them had cards that kind of copy their character ability, just a little bit differently. Because this lets them remove any number of dice versus the other one only letting them do one. Strategic defense, reaction. Play this card at the start of the battle. Gain energy. Each ranger may look at the top 2 cards of their deck and put them back in any order. That's helpful for his other effect. So he seems pretty interesting. Definitely a little bit different. Up next, we have the Black Ranger, Carlos Valeric. I may have pronounced that terribly wrong. Hot-blooded. Once per attack, if you have 2 or fewer cards in your hand, you may reroll any number of dice during that attack. That's an interesting way to do die roll, basically, like if you're running low on attack. So here's him. He's got kind of like a Crescent Moon Scepter. There's his blade, Astro Blaster in the back. The only thing I don't really like about these designs of these, because all the other characters kind of look a little bit different from, like the regular Power Rangers, all the exact same uniform, basically, except for the helmets. But in here, even the helmets are the exact same. So there's really, other than the color, there's really nothing to tell them apart. I kind of like when they at least have something distinctive about them. So an Astro Blaster, Covering Strike, 2 damage. Before you perform this attack, any ranger may choose 1 card from their hand, place it on top of their deck. Ooh boy, there's some good synergy between these cards. Which I kind of wonder if that's why they all have the exact same uniforms, is because they're supposed to be more of like because they're in space, so maybe they're... Again, I haven't seen Power Rangers in space. I started watching Lost Galaxy, which comes after it, but I wonder if it's because they're like more of a military group, or people that were in the military, or something like that. So they have like a uniform, and that's why they all kind of work better as a team, versus everyone being vastly different, like the original Power Rangers, which were just 5 teenagers thrown together. So we have a Lunar Lance. For attack, you may discard 2 cards from your hand instead of paying this card's energy cost. Okay, so that could be helpful. He's one of the other guys to bring your cards back. Meteor Smash, 2 dice. For rolling, you may discard 1 card from your hand, either gain 1 energy or 1 die to this attack. Nice. Options. Options are always good. Moonfang Piercer, 5 dice. Before rolling, move 1 die from this attack for each card remaining in your hand. Spend this one last, but it only costs 1 to do up to 5 dice. It's definitely powerful. Then this would work nice with the Blue Rangers, where you could remove dice, like any number of dice. You could remove all 5 and guarantee a 5 hits. Or move 2 with his character ability and guarantee 2 hits and still get to roll 3 dice. So that's kind of cool. Synergy. And then Rising Moon, draw 1 card, then choose any number of cards from your hand to place them on top of your deck. Any ranger may immediately play 1 card. So that's nice. Any ranger, because that means you could draw a card, draw Moonfang Piercer, play it, discard all down to like 1 card if you had to. I mean, he's putting them back on your deck, and then he could hit for like 1 attack, 1 damage to do 5, and then let the rest of the Rangers take over. Like that could be like a first turn thing, and you could do 5 damage, take out something super powerful right off the bat. That's pretty cool. Alright, up next we have Yellow Space Ranger, Ashley Hammond. Optimism. Oop, we got a focus there. Once per battle, when any ranger rolls a 0 result or a miss, gain 1 energy. Um, that's interesting. It's nice. Rolls any results, you only gain 1. So, I mean, you may as well use it the first time they do it because you're gonna gain the 1 energy. It's not overly powerful, but it could definitely help. At least maybe recuperate if they lost something. So here's her. She's got the traditional skirt the girls have. Like the Mighty Morphin Yellow didn't have because in the Super Sentai series it was played by a man. Or the Yellow Ranger was played by a man. I'm not trying to use odd pronouns. But she had like this interesting slingshot, which I think is a cool weapon. Like we have a drill saber, it's kind of like a sword thing. We have a cosmic axe. We have like a moon spear, and then we have a slingshot. It's not really any more weird than Pink Zeo Rangers, Discus. So we have our Astro Blaster. You've seen a bunch. Precision Shot. 1 dice plus 1 hit. You may ignore the guard keyword when choosing a target for this attack. So, like the Red Ranger, she hates guards, but this automatically does a die. Rapid Fire Reaction. Play this card when any ranger rolls a 0 or a miss during their attack. Add 2 dice to that attack. Oh, that's cool, and then the fact is it works for any other ranger. Again, I like seeing that recreation of their character ability on a regular card. Plus, that works nice for the legendary mode, where you can mix and match cards, because then you could get some, you tie their character abilities in with some other characters. Star Slinger, so here's her signature weapon, 3 dice. After rolling, choose 2 dice from this attack and deal that much damage or hits to each up to 2 enemy cards that are not adjacent to the target. Oh, that's cool. So if you rolled 3 ones, you could do 2 damage up to 2 other cards that aren't adjacent. So you can hit around some. Excuse me. And some of these kind of play well with that mastermind mode, where they can put cards in different spots. Take aim, gain 1 energy, you may immediately play another card. If that card is an attack, you may reroll any number of dice during that attack. Cool. That's, makes sense of sizing them up. That's the Yellow Ranger. Alright, she seems pretty interesting. Oh, nope, we have 1 more card. That's stuck on. I thought it seemed like you should have had 1 more. It's just Trick Shot. 2 attack. If you roll any misses results during this attack, deal 1 hit to an enemy card that is not adjacent to the target. That's cool. So she kind of helps you prep up for attack, and you gotta do something. Or if you miss stuff, you can make a comeback. And then our final ranger is we have the Pink Space Ranger, Cassie Chan. Ready to rock. Once per battle, any ranger may discard the top card of their deck. Then choose 1 card from a discard pile and place it back on top. So good recycling. I don't have enough to play this 3 cost. Let me discard it, maybe get a 1 cost. Alright, so there's her. She's got this. She doesn't have her Astro Blaster, so she hasn't mixed in with her weapon as well, like the Blue Ranger. Kind of cool. You don't usually see the Rangers using their regular blasters that often. So it's kind of neat. They have these guys where they look like they can combine it with their regular weapons. So there's an Astro Blaster. Got Comet Kick. So she has 2 attacking. She has a star down here. So when you reveal for defense, you may gain 1 energy or add 1 shield to this card. I like at least every set seems to have 1 shield like one character with them stars because they kind of work nice together. Orbital dropkick. During the next ranger's turn this battle, instead of playing a card, you may perform an attack with 3 dice, then deal 1 damage to each enemy adjacent to the target. So that's crazy. So basically you have to sacrifice 2 turns, because you have to sacrifice 1 turn to play this. And then you sacrifice your next turn to do it, but you get 3 damage, plus you deal 1 to each adjacent enemy. So you hit 3 other characters potentially, or 3 other enemies. It's a good way to like end the battle. Like okay, like we got 1 turn left, nobody can really do anything. Drop ticket. So here she has her satellite stunner. Choose up to 2 foot soldier cards, 1 monster card, or 1 boss card. For each card chosen, add hit tokens until it has a number of health equal to 1 less than its health value. So imagine hitting them with this, like 2 foot soldiers, and they only have 1 health left, and then you could drop this down. You take 1 hit, but then like next turn, you get 3 guys, hit the middle one, and then you could finish off the other guys easily. So she has some good finisher combos here. Sweeping Strike. 2 dice. After you resolve this attack, deal 1 damage to an enemy and adjacent cards. Kind of like the Black Ranger, the Mighty Morphin Black. There's lots of like hitting around and kind of like final combats. Then she has Tough Stuff reaction. Play this card when any ranger reveals a card for defense. Double the number of defense on that card. When this card is revealed for defense, you may spend 1 energy to add 2 defense to this card. That's cool. She actually beef it up, have a 4 cost. She can take some hits. If she can take some hits with her defense abilities, she can spread out minor damage. That's actually pretty cool. Let's look at some Zords. They're kind of lame name Zords. Mega V1 for the Red Ranger. Exhaust this card when any ranger performs a maneuver or a reaction. Gain 1 energy. That ranger may place that card on the bottom of their deck instead of discarding it. So I mean it's helpful. Especially if that like pink card, because then you could reuse it again if you needed to. Mega V2 for the Black Space Ranger. Exhaust this card at any time. Any ranger may discard up to 2 cards from their hand, then choose twice that many cards from the discard pile and place them on the top of their deck in any order. Nice. Like, get a new hand. We have the Mega V3. Exhaust this card when any ranger performs an attack. After rolling, that ranger may remove 1 die to add 2 hits to that attack. It's kind of just like reutilizing their abilities. That's the Blue Ranger. Yellow Ranger has Mega V4. Exhaust this card at any time to gain 1 energy. Any ranger may draw any number of cards. Yeah, these guys really worked as a team though too. Like, yeah, 1 lets you discard or reshuffle to put new cards on your deck. 1 lets you draw more cards. Mega V5, Pink Space Ranger. Exhaust this card when any ranger suffers damage. Reduce that damage by 2. That ranger they may then choose 1 card from their hand to place on top of their deck. So you actually like get hit. Like, oh, there's my like I got hit for 6. Discard a 3. You know, and then you could be like, all right, so I could take 3, reduce it by 2. Put that 3 card back on top of your deck, then you only have 1 more damage to take and it's going to absorb it. That'd be an interesting thing. Alright, and then we have the Zord, Mega Zord, we have the Mega Voyager. When you summon this card, and at the start of each action phase, place 5 energy tokens on this. And when you summon this card and at the start of each action phase, place 5 energy tokens on this, max of 5. Each time a ranger suffers damage, you may move 1 energy token from this card to reduce that damage by 3. So basically, you get summoned, you get 15 damage prevention every action phase. That seems like a lot. I feel like at the beginning you get it. But what's is an action phase after all the battles are concluded. So I mean, you might use 3 for this ranger, 3 for that ranger battle, but still 15 overall. That seems pretty crazy. Alright, so there, and we still got the Dino Megazord on the back. Alright, so that is all of our rangers. Let's look at some bad guys. Ugh, maybe. Alright, first up, we have Mastermind Steam cards. So if you're playing the Mastermind Steam, these are the different cards you can shuffle in and then use. So Dark Tactics. Play this card before preparing combat grid. Look at the top 2 cards of any enemy deck. You may then place each card on top or the bottom of the deck in any order. Ooh boy. Pull them monsters quicker. Follow the odds. Play this card when any ranger performs an attack. Force that ranger to reroll all their dice. Oh boy. That could suck. A couple of those. Insidious Doubt. Play this card before the first turn of any battle. Force one ranger to discard one random card from their hand. Okay, so that's not so bad. It could be terrible, but it might not be. Sap Energy. Play this card at the end of any ranger turn during battle. Drain 1. Who is that? I don't recognize that bad guy. Interesting. Maybe a hint of something to come. Shatter Defense. Oh no, poor Alpha. Play this card when any ranger reveals a card for defense. Remove 1 defense from that card. Now, so if they had 3, might not be bad, but if they had 1, oh boy, that would hurt. But even if they had 3 and you dropped it to 2, and then they couldn't get to recycle that card. Toughen Up. Play this card before the first turn in any battle. Attach it to an enemy card. The health of the battle of that enemy is increased by 1. Which 1 doesn't sound like much, but it can be everything. So those are the Mastermind cards. Schemes. That's kind of cool. Hopefully they'll keep like slowly releasing more of these so you have more options. Like even if they like tuck them into like villain packs or if it's just in these big box sets. So we're gonna have our foot soldiers, who are the Quantrons. And you have 1s, 2s, couple of 3s, and they're gonna have your locations, your KO5 and your KO35 and Surf Spot. And like all foot soldiers, they always have 3 health. So you have Quantron Cyber Slash, fast. Deal 3 damage unless the ranger discards 1 card from their hand to prevent it. So that's bad, kind of, but I mean, it's a good trade-off. Plus the Black Ranger here would actually probably happily discard stuff. The Phanelix Formation, Guard passive. Drain 1 energy when this card resolves. This card's health is equal to the number of foot soldiers at this location. So that's kind of cool. They get more powerful the more guys there are. Or weaker the less guys there are. Priority Target. Deal 3 damage to the lead ranger. With 3 health. And we have some Q Blades with 2 health. Deal 2 damage and deal 2 damage. These guys don't seem too bad. They seem like a good, like maybe like counterpoint to the Putty Patrollers. And then we have a bag of them. Kind of funny how everybody else gets a little, like, individual tray piece, and they're like, foot soldiers will just chuck into a bag. But let's pull one out and take a look at them. These guys look pretty cool, though. Oh, yeah, some menacing masks. And they're dual blades. Definitely a space sci-fi villain, I'd say so. Look, jaggedy edges. And look, they're even actually quite a bit smaller. That's actually neat. They're a little bit smaller than the other guys. I mean, maybe the putties were too. Maybe the Rangers are just bigger molds. Alright, and then we have a handful of Mastermind cards that get swapped in there. Just say when the Mastermind can activate some of their stuff. And then we have a boss card and the nemesis cards. So how those work is we have one nemesis card for each of the 6 nemesis rangers. Because there's the original 5 that were in the series, one that matches each of the space rangers, plus the green one which introduced in the comic book. And then we have just the Psycho Rangers as a group. So if you're fighting them as a boss, they're just one group that comes out. Otherwise, we have individual cards. And we'll look at each one individually. I'm going to flip this box around so I can reach some of these guys. And then try and figure out which one's which. Which, for the most part, is pretty easy to tell. Even though they're not color-coded. Because they were duplicates of, or like evil versions of the Space Rangers, so their weapons kind of match. We're going to start off with Psycho Red. So this icon has to do with when they come into play, they deal stuff, or like their other cards will activate this. This deals 4 damage to the attached ranger. So when this comes into play, it attaches to the Red Ranger if the Red Ranger is available. If the Red Ranger is not being played, then it can get attached to anybody. But that was trying to attach to their color. And then we'll see what their effects do. So we have some generic Psycho Ranger cards. And then we have individual cards. So Psycho Red has, so if you're playing them as a monster, you're going to have these 2 Psycho Red cards plus this pile of Psycho Ranger cards. But if you're not using if I'm not using the Red Ranger, I wouldn't include his red cards. It's kind of how that works. So he's got a signature weapon, the Psycho Sword. It's fast. It's going to deal 5 damage to the lead ranger. And then they have their path cards, which is kind of like their true demonic forms. Passive. When this card is in play, each time a defeated enemy card resolves, deal 3 damage. When this card resolves, resolve all of the nemesis effects. So that is when this ability would trigger, as well as any of the other rangers. So in one hit, they're all going to hit at the same time. So these Psycho Rangers can get pretty powerful pretty fast. And then let's take a look at him. So there's our Psycho Red Ranger. They got like this N type signature on their belts. But he's got his sword. Yeah, they're definitely kind of cool. It's kind of like in a combat pose, like, hey, let's get ready to go. Alright, so that is him. And then up next we have Psycho Black. Now his nemesis ability, deal 3 damage to the attack ranger and 2 damage to another ranger. And then his cards. The Psycho Staff. Deal 3 damage to each ranger and guard. Oh boy. And then his Path of Stone. Passive. While this card is in play, the health values of all other enemy cards increase by 1. And when it resolves, you resolve them nemesis effects. And then here's our Black Ranger. He said he has a staff, which is like, comparable to the Black Ranger's Moon Staff. Like, it's not supposed to be the exact weapon, but it's supposed to be like reminiscent of it. But yeah, these are pretty cool. Pretty cool bad guys. And I know nothing about them, other than everybody seems to love them. Psycho Blue. The attacked ranger must discard from their hand the card with the highest energy cost, which could be a bad thing, but could be a good thing, because you might not be able to play it anyhow. Psycho Axe. 3 different rangers must each discard from their hand a card with the highest energy cost. Yeah, that would suck. And then Path of Frost. While this energy card is in play, the shared energy pool cannot be any greater than 2. Drain any excess energy. Oh boy, yes, you can't pile up for massive attacks with that. And I think so far they're all 5 and 6. Right? Yep, 5 and 6. 5 and 6. And we have Psycho Blue. He's got a little short axe, which is kind of funny. Usually he's got like axe. I think you have like a big giant like battle axe or something. Nope, he's just got a little hand axe. Still cool. Still cool. Psycho Yellow. The attacked ranger must discard a card from their hand with the most shields. And she is going to have the Psycho Slinger. Deal 3 different rangers must each discard cards in the hand with the most shields. Now imagine if you got hit with that, plus them with the energy cost. Like some of these like in a row could really hurt. Path of Venom. Well, this card is in play. Each time a ranger reveals a card for defense, remove 1 shield from that card. And that would trigger them abilities. Hers is the Psycho Slinger. She's also got a slingshot. Definitely looks a little bit more cool than the Yellow Rangers, I have to say. I do love the Yellow Rangers in like the kneeling pose. But definitely cool. Cool villains. They look cool. I mean, they have cool abilities, interesting effects. It'd be fun to play as them. Or against them, rather. Psycho Pink. Drain 1 energy and deal 2 damage to the attacked ranger. Oh boy. Now, this is the only odd one here. So we have Psycho Bow. Drain 2 damage. Or 2 energy. Then deal 3 damage to the ranger with the fewest cards in their deck, which would really hurt the Black Ranger. You kind of see like where I said the Space Rangers had lots of synergy between each other. The Nemesis Rangers have lots of synergy between each other as well. Like they're not necessarily playing off each other's abilities, but like when they're hitting some of these effects, it's gonna compile onto each other when you play all 5 of them at once. So she has the Path of Thorns. Well, this card is in play. Each time a ranger attacks this card or an adjacent enemy card, deal 2 damage to that ranger. So you're going to want to probably defeat this in one go. And then, this is why she's sort of weird, because she has a bow. Like all the other ones had matching weapons. Like Red Ranger has a sword, Blue Ranger has an axe, spear, and then yeah, she has the bow, which is more like the Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger, versus she has this satellite stunner gun. But I don't know how you would have made that little handheld gun eviler, I guess. Like, and then finally we have the Psycho Green Ranger. The attacked ranger and another ranger must each discard the top card of their deck. So you have one that makes them discard a defense card, one that makes them discard the highest cost. This one just makes them discard a card from their deck. Yeah, these guys could really compile if they all hit at the same time. Here's the Psycho Dagger. Each ranger must discard the top card of their deck. And then the Path of Cruelty. While this ranger card is in play, the first time each ranger plays a card in this battle, they must discard the top card of their deck. Oh boy. Yeah, that could hurt. I'm excited and not looking forward to fighting these guys all at the same time. So that'll be interesting. But what's also cool is someone noted that Nemesis here have 5 points on there. They have a hexagon. And they have 5 health usually. And then bosses usually have, sorry, not hexagon, octagon. Bosses usually have a hexagon, which is 6. Which kind of sort of represents their 6 health here, their Path of Cruelty. And then, yeah, so I think monsters also have 5. Just sort of an interesting idea, like they kind of had a match. And then here's our Psycho Green. These guys dagger there, really reminiscent of the Green Ranger. And then, yeah, he's supposed to be like kind of parodying the Mighty Morphin Green, which is why he has the dagger. Because there wasn't a Space Green Ranger. I think the 6th Ranger for Space is Silver. And then here are just the Psycho Ranger cards. We have Nemesis Drain, Guard. Drain 1 energy, resolve all effects. Oh boy. I'll take out that one as quickly as possible. Psycho Assault. Deal 3 damage if there are 2 Rangers or more. There are 2 or more Psycho Rangers in this location. Deal 6 damage instead. So it kind of shows how well they work if they gang up together. We have a Psycho Burst. Deal 2 damage to each Ranger. Resolve all Nemesis effects. And these guys aren't super powerful with the 3s and 2s, but that's because their other forms are more powerful. And Psycho Strike. Resolve fast. It just resolves all the Nemesis effects. Imagine hitting a first turn with some of that. Just want to quit right there. Alright. There's a cool picture of all of them. So you got pink, red, yellow, blue, black, and the green one up there on the top. Alright, that is what we got for Power Rangers in Space. Rise of the Psycho Rangers. So yeah, 5 new Rangers, Space Rangers, all pretty cool. Work really well as a team. Be interesting to see how you mix and match with some other people. Psycho Rangers gave us 6 new villains. You can either be played as bosses, or as monsters, or as a giant team, which adds a new mechanic, plus the mastermind mode. Some more foot soldiers to play with. So definitely fun. If you want a bunch more content, these big boxes like this or Shattered Grid are a good way to go. Because you get a full team, you get a bunch of villains. Yeah, this one gets you more villains than Shattered Grid. But Shattered Grid gets you more Rangers. Because you get the 5 Hyperforce plus Pink Time Force and Red Samurai. Which gives you some very vastly different abilities. But either one you get extra foot soldiers. Kinda looks like these guys might be easier than the Mastodons. But yeah, got more sets coming out. Check you guys later. Bye.